Hello friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. It is a cloudy, cold day here in North Carolina, but that is not going to stop me from getting out into the garden because we are going to be adding beautiful evergreens that bring us flowers and fragrance this time of year when it is dark and nasty outside. Yes, my friends, Jenny is adding more camellias and more sweet osmanthus tea olives to the garden. Plus, I am going to kind of walk you through this garden that has really been very low on the priority list, and we are going to bump it back up and begin developing this over a time of period that is going to be a lot of fun. So the area that I'm talking about, of course, is here. That is along the Creekbank. It is in our backyard, and this area has so much potential. Basically, it is going to be a shade garden. Parts of the area of the garden will get some really great, really good morning sun into the afternoon, and then it goes into the shade, which makes it perfect for me because I am North Carolina, a zone 8A, and the heat and the humidity of the summer, the plants need a break. So first, what do we want to do first? We want to talk plants, or we want to talk about garden? Let's talk about the plants because the plants are so much fun. So if you've been around me for any length of time, you probably know that sweet osmanthus are absolutely one of my #1 favorite plants, especially for the fall winter garden. Why is that? Because they are evergreen, they are fast growers, and yes, they produce the most fragrant flowers. And we are going to be adding a brand new cultivar to my garden. In this area, I already have 2, so this is going to be my 3rd one because one can never have too many tea olives in their southern garden. So let me show you this cutie patootie and tell you where you can get one for yourself. Here in the back of the John Deere, I have got my plants, and I have got 3 of these osmanthus. This is, and I'm probably going to absolutely butcher how to say this. It's either, I'm going to say Fadingzu. Yeah, so I believe it is a Japanese name. Japanese or Chinese, forgive me. I am not brushed up on my my languages. So there we go. So what is so great about this osmanthus is all the categories that I just told you about, but also is that this will be absolutely covered in those beautiful flowers. Like when you look at the pictures of this plant, the entire plant is covered in the clusters of the flowers that give us that beautiful, beautiful fragrance that we love and adore. This is definitely going to be more of a southern plant in those warmer zones. Probably can start growing it somewhere around zone 7. So like zones 7 to 9, possibly 8, 10. The thing that I have learned about with the osmanthus is that they love that great sun. But for me, if they can get a break in the hot afternoon, they seem to flower better. So I do have 3 of these, and I ordered these from Nurseries Caroliniana. And I was just looking at the website today just to kind of look over the information of this plant, and they are currently sold out. So, but bookmark that for Nurseries Caroliniana. Of course, you know that I have been ordering a bunch from them here lately, and they had a lovely selection of sweet osmanthus on the website. They said that this is like their #1 selling plant. And looking at the pictures and knowing what a tea olive does, I would agree that this is going to be an extremely popular plant. Roughly, they're going to get, they say down at Clemson, they have some that are like 8 feet tall. So I'm going to plant on that 6 to 8 foot tall. Not, of course, not as wide, somewhere in that 3 to 5 foot range as far as the width goes. But of course, the great thing about the tea olives is if you need to prune them, they respond really, really well to being pruned. And I will prune this once a year just to make sure it stays nice and tight and compact and that it doesn't get too tall and leggy on me. So I've got 3 of those that we're going to spread out more towards the back of the garden. Then I have got 3 gorgeous camellias. All of these are going to be japonicas, meaning they're going to bloom in the late winter. So say anywhere from like January through March, it could be in that time frame. And these came from Garden Treasures, another great online resource for gorgeous plants. So let me show you these beauties. Oh, one is so rare, I don't even know what it looks like. That's right, I am planting a camellia and I have really, honestly, no clue what the thing's gonna look like, but I don't care. I'm so excited about this plant. So I've got my 3 camellias here. They are in those black pots. So let's do this one first. Let's go with the rare one that I have no clue what's going to look like. This is Eleanor Waltz, and Eleanor Waltz is a rare camellia. She does need a little bit of food. So when I got it, there was a note that said to fertilize in the spring. Of course, I'm going to be using the biotone, so that should green her up a little bit. But Eleanor Waltz is going to be a white flower. It's going to swirl. It is going to be a very full flower. I do have a bud, so when it blooms, I will know exactly what it looks like. But trying to even do research and try to find a picture on the internet, there is none. Even at Garden Treasures, they did not have a picture of this. I just read the description. It sounded great, and I was like, heck, let's just go for it. So we've got Eleanor Waltz again in that 6 to 8 foot range. All of these are going to be in that 6 to 8 foot range. And so there you go on that. Then Mimi was the one that actually turned me on to the fact that they had some new introductions of some camellias. And I think you take one look at this name and you will know exactly why I had to order this one. This is Dear Jenny. And so Dear Jenny is going to be a beautiful white, has kind of that yellow center to it. And y'all, covered in buds, absolutely loaded. Evidently, this is an old variety, an old cultivar. They're trying to bring it back. So not only do I have one of these, but Mimi got one as well. So we've got Dear Jenny right here. And then we have Tinkerbell. And Tinkerbell, y'all, is such a cutie patootie as far as the name goes, but the blooms on this are going to be magnificent, and it is loaded. Even being a nice little small camellia, it is already loaded in buds. It is that beautiful soft pink, kind of reminds me of like that like peony, anemone style, very thick, very full. Again, all of these are in that 6 to 8 foot range. Let me show you where we're thinking about putting them. So basically in this flower bed, because you come down that way, you're going to go towards the nursery, right? So then we've got these azaleas, and these are the old-timey azaleas. They bloom only in the springtime, but they are absolutely gorgeous, and they are nice and thick and full. So we don't have a whole lot of room right here. We've got some macrophylla hydrangeas. They love it down here. They bloom magnificently well every year. We have got limelight, big old, huge, beautiful limelight down here. And then we have got lots of open room behind us. But all of these are going to go a little bit more towards the back because of their size. And then the camellias are going to go back towards the back because of the light requirements. So the area that I'm thinking of is going to be obviously back here in the back. So from the azaleas there in the back, that evergreen to the right, where those rocking chairs are, and then all the way kind of across back here in the back of the bed. Because again, 6 to 8 feet tall. As far as my layers, I want to start with the tallest in the back and then work my way forward with the smaller ones. And you can see that we are really missing a lot of evergreen structure in the back of this bed here in the center. So adding those tea olives, adding the camellias will be a great addition in here. And so that is what we are going to do. So what I am going to do right now is I am just going to go ahead and set up the camera. I'm going to kind of walk around like a little lost puppy for a minute and trying to figure out exactly where I'm going to put these plants. I do know that Tinkerbell, because she is the pink one, she's going to go more in the center, and then we're going to put Dear Jenny and then the Eleanor Waltz on each side, because they're both going to be on those, that kind of white, right? So have the pink in the middle and then a white on each side. And then they're going to definitely go more towards the back, because while they will get morning sun, because the sun comes up over my right and then sets behind, so they'll get a break in the afternoon, but they will get some good sun in the morning, which should be really beneficial for them, but they get a break from the hot afternoon sun. And then we're going to come forward and we're going to put in those sweet osmanthus. Again, I'm going to kind of separate them I'm not going to have them as one big group. I'm just going to kind of separate them throughout and get them kind of towards the back a little bit. So I've got some figuring to do, and yeah, I'll see you in just a second. Alrighty, my friends. So I have got them placed. So we've got 6 plants total, definitely keeping them more towards the back because of their height. I want to be able to go from tall, which is going to be in that, 8-foot height. They could go 10 feet, who knows, but that also could be in 30 years. It'll be fine. So they're in the back, and in that way, as I develop this bed, I can work myself down. Now, another thing too is because these are going to be great evergreens, and they're going to get some width to them, because clearly you can see that there's no evergreens back here whatsoever. And this time of year, we look straight from our backyard into the nursery and the back end of the nursery. This is why Jenny never wants to develop the nursery further back, because you're getting into our backyard. So I am looking to add some privacy screening. I am fully aware this is going to take a little bit of time because camellias are notoriously a little bit slower growers. However, these 3 are considered to be fast growing for japonica camellias. And then of course the tea olives, they grow pretty quickly themselves. So we have got the 3 tea olives that are, and you may say, like, the first one is right here, right? So you may say, well, that's really close to this azalea. Well, this azalea has been here for 20 years. And so this is really the maximum width that this guy is going to get. I'm thinking about the tea olive coming up 3 to 5 feet. So I have no problem whatsoever that the tea olive and the azalea are kind of intermingled with one another, because again, that gives me a privacy screen. So you got the tea olive here, then we put Dear Jenny right here. That way, when we're in the back, this one will be very visible and kind of a highlight right here. So we have Dear Jenny, then we said we had Tinkerbell is over here, and then we have another osmanthus right here. The other 2 are down a little bit. I'll show you those in a little while. So what are we going to do? Because this bed, like I said, has been completely neglected for a very long time. We haven't been amending it, haven't been putting mulch in here really. So I have got, of course, the 9-inch Jenny's Edition auger, because I am sure that we're going to run into some roots. So we have got that. I have got my Biotone starter fertilizer, because this is for great root growth. Even in the late fall going into winter, we add this. You're not going to see top growth from the plant. You're going to have beautiful root growth, which is what I want. Then we're going to go ahead and amend with the Espoma's all-purpose planting mix. That is that great garden soil. So I have 1 bag for 2 plants. So I'll put a half a bag. I'm going to drill my hole, put a half a bag in, drill it again to get it really good and mixed up, put my Biotone in, plant the plant. Then I'm going to come back with the Land and Sea compost. So then again, I have half a bag for each plant, because amending your soil is extremely, extremely important. And I know Jerry had talked about coming in here and dumping some bulk compost and additives in here. Well, if I wait on him, then these plants will never get planted, and they need to get planted. So we'll work around them later on. So that's what I'm going to do, is I'm going to get these 6 babies in the ground, and then I'm going to kind of walk you through and show you the tasks that need to be done this winter before spring hits, so that I can really get this bed off to a great start come in the spring. Okay, my friends, so I've got the 3 tialas planted. I have got the 3 camellias planted. There you go. They are in the ground. As this little side note, this is the first time this has ever happened. The camera just told me that it cannot charge because it's too cold. Normally here in North Carolina, I have the exact opposite problem. Camera is shutting down because it's too hot. So there you go. It is chilly. Now I know it's all relative. So my people in Wisconsin and New York and Michigan and all that, yeah, you're in the frozen tundra. I'm just cold. You're like beyond frigid. But regardless, you may be, well, why are you planting when it's cold? Because the plants are actually more insulated in the ground than they would be hanging out outside and just in their little nursery pots. Because you got to keep thinking about that. In North Carolina, the ground really never freezes. It may, like in late January, like the first maybe inch, maybe it kind of gets a little frosty. But we're not like the rest of the country where you have true winters and it's like insanely cold and your ground really freezes. Doesn't happen here in North Carolina. So that is why I can plant year round. And I would rather plant these shrubs now than in the heat of the summer when they're really, really struggling. So I think it's going to be an absolutely gorgeous addition to have these evergreens, and you can kind of see like they're little islands of the land and sea, so you can see where they are back there. But just thinking about having some nice height evergreen structure, then I'm going to have gorgeous flowers and fragrance. I mean, I really cannot ask for anything else. Let me show you this bed and kind of let me give you an idea of what I am thinking for this flower bed, and because she needs some love right now. So let me show you what we need to do this winter. What you're looking at straight in front of you is a just an old-timey Macrophylla hydrangea. Now, my hydrangeas are not evergreen. They have completely lost all of their leaves. What you are looking at is honeysuckle. I love honeysuckle. Like, it is, when it blooms, there is no bigger fan of honeysuckle than me. However, this is the problem with honeysuckle, is that it will cover and smother your good plants. So this is actually the perfect time of year to come in, because you know exactly what is honeysuckle because it's green. So then what we can do is go down and at the base of the plant, find where it is and pull it out. Also in here, I have got one of the other nuisances that is a painful nuisance, the briars. So what you're looking at, that tall thing right there, those are briars, and they have got some thorns on them like you would not believe. The good thing again is that I can come down here and I can see that this green stalk right here, that is the briar, and I can cut it, paint it, and get rid of it. And then I have got some sort of volunteer tree also growing up in this Macrophylla hydrangea. So this poor little Mac, you can see though, like last year, my goodness, or this year rather, I guess, she bloomed her head off because she has got tons of old blooms here. And these are those classic, this very acidic down here. They are gorgeous and blue and lovely. But this is a problem. So we've got to take care of that. And that's mainly what I have in here, are those types of situations. We did used to have, before we knew, so don't come at me, people, because now we know better. So this was probably like 20 years ago when we moved in here. Jerry went to the woods, saw a pear tree, dug it up and planted it over here. Well, it was like one of those Bradford pears, which is a horrible, horrible tree, a horrible nuisance, and it will drop babies everywhere. Well, that's what we're still dealing with, because he took the tree out several years ago, but we're still getting babies that are coming up. Example A is this one right here. So this guy is that pear, and so it is just awful. So we have got to come in here again, go down, cut it down to the bottom, and then paint it with that herbicide that will kill that whole thing. So again, just, we've got some privet in here that's growing like crazy. The more of the honeysuckle, like I'm gonna be battling honeysuckle for quite a long time. And so it is really going into the azaleas and the hydrangeas. So my main thing is to get this bed cleaned up, because I do have a lot of those horrible nuisance plants, whether it's the honeysuckle, the briars, the pears, the privets, all of those kinds of things. We do not have kudzu, so that's the one good thing. We do have kudzu on the other end that I've been battling. But basically people will ask, well, how do you get rid of it? So, or these nuisance plants. So one is, the best way is to like go in there and like pull them. But certain ones like the briars, the pears, well, pretty much all of those that I just mentioned, really. Even if you pull them, they're just going to come back. And sometimes it's like if you pull it, then you just make them mad and they just come back stronger. So that's why I use that brush and stump killer. To, when you cut it, you take a paintbrush and you just paint where you cut. So you're not spraying the entire bed or the entire plant. So it really does minimize the risk and the spreading of the herbicide in your flower bed, because no matter, like those briars, no matter how many times you pull them, my gosh, they just keep coming back and coming back and coming back. So that's going to be my main thing. The only thing that I need to look at is to see if that brush and stump killer has to be at a certain temperature, like the outside temperature has to be at a certain level before you can use it. But it certainly won't hurt to try, because I think most of the sap should still be in the plants. So when I cut it, then they'll absorb that herbicide and then they will die. So that is going to be my main goal this winter, is to get it really cleaned up and to get that nasty stuff out. So that way come springtime, when my azaleas are blooming and those kinds of things, is really pretty, and you can then kind of manage the nuisance stuff as it comes back, because it will come back, because more stuff will pop up. Maybe not necessarily stuff that I cut and kill, but new stuff will pop up. So that's going to be an ongoing battle, probably for a couple of years, honestly, in this bed. Mimi's already told me that she's very excited and she's really ready to help me kind of tackle this area and get it cleaned up. So that will be a lot of fun. But just know that there are always areas, especially when, because we live on 8.5 acres, right? So our personal property is 8.5 acres. So there is tons of room, and there's always an area that we can tweak and have fun with. But the area, this space, is one of those where I just want to create like that natural kind of part shade, part sun, woodland bed, right? So lots to have lots of year-round color and layers and textures. We'll be adding some hellebores in here. I think I could be putting hostas towards the back, because as you come forward towards the grass, then obviously you're gonna get some more sun. So this is gonna be a really fun area to develop over the years. This is not gonna be like, oh, come springtime, it's gonna be completely done. No, this is an ongoing project that's gonna be a lot of fun to deal with. But those camellias and those tea olives, man, I am excited about those. So if you're able, get outside, enjoy some time in the outdoors. I did see a patch of blue sky for half a second, and then it went away. And so, yeah, 'tis the season for kind of cloudy, dreary days, but that's all right. Get outside, get some fresh air. You can do it. All right, y'all, we will see you in the next video. Bye, friends.